Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
Okay. Check, check, check. And we're gonna have to untangle this. Check, 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 check. Okay, this is better. We can turn the volume up. We're not trying to use no Bluetooth, so we don't need that. I just want to make sure we're actually getting some sound here.
The radio mode. Aux input mode.
Hello? Alright, we're good. So, happy Saturday. I hope everyone is well. I hope people are doing great. I really hope the sound is coming through so you can hear me. I want to talk about what happened last night and something that I realized. And I guess it's almost like a summation of a lot of shit that I've learned over the last year, but I'd maybe say like over a course of a few years. Because for me, at least, I learned stuff really fast, right? Like for me, things happened extremely fast, and it was a lot of different things happening at the same time. So I know some of the videos that I've talked about have been about relationships, and that's simply because I had a lot of relationships just in the last like 12 months, like a lot of them. And with each one, there is a certain amount of like processing. Like if you are, you know, a caring adult who wants to like learn and grow in your life, you do need to process and unpack what's happening and like grow from it. Otherwise, you're gonna like miss the lessons that you should be taking away from like the stuff happening in your life. So that's a thing, and that's important. And I didn't really do that. I guess I kept hopping from one relationship to another because honestly, I hadn't found the Case Kenny podcast yet, which really talks about how critical and important it is to be single, you know, and to not rush into a relationship. And I guess I was still at this really, you know, naive phase where I felt like, oh, I'm nothing if I'm not in a relationship with some guy. The relationship that I have with some guy is a critical aspect of my life. Other people just made me feel that way, and I just kind of went along with it. Also, I think I was not taking seriously like adult female friendships, which I had them. I just wasn't using them in like constructive ways. I guess I was just brushing off the women in my life who were there to support me even through really rough times. And it's not a lot of women, but I was never, I honestly, I cannot sit here and say I was ever alone, because I wasn't. At every aspect and every phase that I went through, I had at least 2 or 3 really good friends who I could call on any day. But I just felt like, no, I'm such an independent. I don't need anyone else. I don't need anyone else's help. All I need is myself. I'm good, you know, and that's incorrect. You're not good. You do need other people. You need other people. But also, you don't need the wrong people. Like, the wrong people do not need to be there. The wrong people don't need to know what's going on with you. The wrong people are not there to support you. And you have to realize that too. Like, those things go together. And I think that, you know, in the last year, I've lost some new people, you know, and I've gained some new people. And I think that the people who are still around are supposed to be here. And I'm happy that you're here. And to the people who left, you know, deuces. I hope your life goes well. Maybe we'll come across each other in life. Maybe we won't. Okay, so let's move on to what happened last night. So last night I picked up a bartending shift at the City Hall in San Francisco. So like the mayor's office is there. It's on Civic Center and near like it's up by Civic Center BART. It's on like Van Ness Street. And so among the building being used to house public officials, um, private entities can rent the space out and just host parties there. So last night there was the company party for Career Karma, or is it Credit Karma? Credit Karma or Career? I think it was Credit Karma. Okay, and that it was actually kind of cool, right? Like it was cool, and it felt like all of the people who were working there were really happy. They were really happy. Like there was a dance floor, there was pop music, everybody was like dancing, drinking, eating, chatting. Like all the women had ball gowns, you know, people were coupled up. It was a gala, it was an event, it was lovely, it was really nice. I was like, wow, this company culture must be like really good, because it seemed like there was a diverse array of like employees. I saw, you know, gay male couples. I saw lesbian female couples. I saw groups of girls who were there just hanging out. I saw, it looked like, you know, married people, of like younger married people, older married people. I feel like I saw like senior leadership, like more junior employees. I feel like I saw engineers. I feel like I saw other people who were in, you know, sales, or I feel like I saw just like this wide array of people at this event, and everybody was like happy. And I was like, wow, this is hella nice. Like it was a whole vibe. It was a whole vibe. And I felt like, man, I want to create a community that's like that too. I want to create a product where people are working on it and they work so hard on the product that when they come to the company party, they still want to see each other and talk to each other and party with each other. I don't know, it felt so cool. And it also felt like I had some moments of reflection, because I just felt like I want to get better. I want to improve myself, right? I feel like, you know, there might have been a time in my career where I was just like one of the first to do XYZ, right? And also, and I feel like I've been having to explain this a lot, like I am a product manager. That's why I've worked on so many products on so many teams. This is why I could tell you about so many different industries, because even though I was trained as an engineer, I'm not going back to engineering, because like I'm really good at managing programs and product. I'm just really good at like talking with people, gathering information, collecting documentation, and running analytics. Like I'm good at that. I know how to do that job, like really, really well. So well. I don't know, but it could honestly be that whatever my skill set is, it just doesn't fit within the constraints of companies right now. And when that happens, sometimes it's time to build your own company. But I've said this before, you know, I just don't feel like there's not a project that I'm passionate about working on. You know, like I just feel like I would be very happy just being an employee, and I don't understand why just me being an employee has to be political. It always turns out to be political, but the things that I end up talking about are the problems that, you know, seem to come to surface they're always like social society type of issues that needs to be solved anyway. So not confronting them with me, it doesn't actually solve anything. All it does is push it under the rug and leave space for someone else to come who does have to address that issue, because you can't not solve it. It has to be solved. So it's like, if it's not with me, it's just gonna be with someone else. I don't know. So that felt weird. It also feels like maybe there's something that I'm not realizing, where like I have been pointed at as like the villain. Like, I'm not doing all this awful shit to other, like, I don't even have that many interpersonal relationships right now with like new people. So there's no way I could be this like villainous person to others, because like I don't even know y'all. You know what I'm saying? And the only shit, I'm too occupied dealing with the many things that are already on my plate. And they like have been. Like, there's been shit on my plate, and now it's just like, the more of you guys that come and start to do petty little shit, like whoever did the mailbox shit, like it's me who has to now go talk to the male police investigation unit and fucking solve it like I'm a detective. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to keep track of now the fucking hobo on campus, the crackhead who chased me around. Like, I have to deal with all this shit. This is not me going out running havoc among a community, right? This is like a community fucking terrorizing me. Just because I'm like, what? I'm an independent black person here? Like, I'm sorry that you grew up in segregated communities and you don't know what real black people are like, because all you have is rap and television. But that's not my fucking problem. It's not my burden to teach you. I am not required to be friendly to you or your friend or like you or think that you're great, because most of you are not. You're just mediocre, and that's what you are. And you should just be happy. If you're watching this and you're white, just be happy that you don't have like black people problems, but also realize you don't have black people swag. So it goes both ways. This is another reason why I feel like maybe, I don't know, the only thing left is for me to take artistry seriously. Just because like my perspective is different. I really do have things to say. I really do have feelings that I want to share, but I feel like I don't package them as a stereotypical black person, so it becomes confusing to understand where to place me. I don't know. And I don't know if that matters, because I don't actually need anyone else to market me. I have enough skills to market myself. It's just exhausting to do everything yourself. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. But I don't know if there's another choice. It does feel like it's this or fucking, I don't know. Okay, and you know, I also wanted to give a little premise here, because I do feel like there are a growing number of loyal subscribers. Some of you guys are like watching all of my videos, and it's taken a while to kind of get here, because I have a lot of shit to say, right? And like, I talk a lot, yo. I've got shit to say about all the topics. So, ooh, those birds are fucking. Yeah, no. So I've got things to say about all of the topics, and some of y'all are actually listening. I would just assume, and maybe I'll go look at the analytics to see who's actually watching this. But I would just assume if you're watching me, you're like probably a young adult, and like a female young adult. And I just want to give you a pro tip. Like, it's very nice to look up to other people for certain, you know, traits. If you're like, this person dresses well, I want to dress well. Here's what I would really encourage you to do. Pull out that aspect of that other person that you like she dresses well. And then talk in terms of the admiration for dressing well and what that means for you. So like, if you see someone with a nice dress and then you go up to them and you say, hey, I really like your dress, where is it from? And then they say, I bought the dress from Jason Wu. What you can say as an admirer of the dress moving forward in life is like, I like Jason Wu dresses. See how like anyone can purchase a Jason Wu dress if you have the money to do so. And it doesn't have anything to do specifically with the person, except you're saying, I was first introduced to the dress from like seeing it on this person. but it's not some sort of infatuation with the person or even with the dress. You're just saying, like, this particular designer, I like this designer. I hope that makes sense, because I want to, like, take that idea and push it out into some other subject areas, specifically like work and money and independence. Okay, like, every person, if you're an adult, you need to have your own apartment. Stop living with your parents. Like, it just doesn't matter what other people are saying. Like, you need to start adulting and moving the fuck out, especially like if you're in the Black community. Like, and especially if you're like if you grew up in a low income household, and if you don't know that, if you don't know whether you're low or high income, let me just tell you, you're low income. Okay, like, if you're upper middle class, you're gonna know. Did your parents buy you a car? Do your parents have a college fund for you? Did you attend private school? Are you enrolled in extracurricular activities? Are you bilingual? If all those answers are no, you're probably low income. So maybe just fall on the spectrum of being low income. And you know what? As a young adult, if you're an 18-year-old watching this and you realize that you're low income, all you have is a space for opportunity. All you have is time to learn. And the biggest lesson that I've learned that I can tell you is, like, you need to get out in the real world right now. You need to get away from your family, away from the broke friends that you know who are saying shit that's not true. Because a lot of those people, a lot of broke people like to talk about other people's money and other people's opportunity as if it has something to do with themselves. This is when I made the other so when I made the video Nigger Logic Part 2, a big part of that video was explaining how these men look at someone else's girlfriend and think that it has something to do with that. Like, they're judging someone else's girlfriend. You cannot judge someone else's things. You only have control over your own life. What someone else does or doesn't do, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. The only thing that matters is what you do. The only thing that matters is what you want. So if you're a young adult, make a decision. Either you're going to work or you're going to school, okay? If you're trying to go to school and you don't have any money, you need to go to a private school. If your grades weren't good, then you can't go to school right now. You need to work. So the option is working, okay? And so get a job. Get a job at a grocery store. Get a job at a kitchen. Get a job wherever you can get a job, okay? And then now with that job, use the very little bit of money that you have to rent a room, to pay for your food, and to pay for your cell phone. If you don't have a computer, go buy a cloud, a cloud notebook. The like $200 ones from Best Buy. Just go in there, save $200, go buy a personal computer. You need one. It is a requirement to have a personal computer as an adult. If your parents didn't have one, it doesn't matter. Fuck whatever your parents did. They have no more to offer you. If you're 18, stop whining about your parents. It doesn't matter what they did. It doesn't matter what they didn't do. You have to move forward, okay? So move out. Move out. Leave the brokies and the community that you're from. If you need to get a Greyhound ticket to come to California or New York, do that shit. Do it. Because there's jobs there. And if you know how to take a shower, brush your teeth, and brush your hair, put on clothes that fit, you can get a job. You can get a job in a kitchen, you can get a job in a Starbucks. There's a lot of jobs, and you can get one of them, okay? And you need to do that now. It is like, stop watching YouTube and music videos all day, because that's not helping your life. And also, if you are a female and you're watching this, I do want to be a content channel for women. Excuse me. I want you to know that you should really think about staying out of a relationship for a while. Like, you probably don't need to increase your body count. You don't need to. Sex is complicated, and it's very dangerous for women, honestly. And I'll tell a story about a woman I met earlier this year where I was just waiting for the bus to go to the gym, and this woman runs up to me in pure shock and horror. She's like screaming and crying. This is like a Black woman, and she was in the middle of running away from a domestic dispute with her boyfriend, who was actively trying to kill her. He had locked her out of her apartment, he'd stolen her car, and he threatened to shoot her, and she was literally running away. And that is the society that we live in, where men, specifically black men, will try to take your life. And I had to wait with that woman I had to walk that woman 16 blocks to the Oakland police station to save her life, because she said she ran up to 5 other people and they all ran away from her. Because when people are in society and they see black women in distress, they feel fear, so they can't help. They are not citizens. They are not good people. They don't want to help. And I'm glad that I was there. I was able to walk with her to the police department. I went to go buy her food. We had to wait for 4 hours for a police officer to come and take her report. She then had to be transported to the emergency department because she had a concussion. He had rammed her head against the floor multiple times. He had like physically pulled out her weave. And so then I rode the bus to go, because she was at, I think she was at Altabates in Berkeley, but this happened in Oakland. Or no, she was at Summit. Yeah, she was at Summit in Oakland. So anyway, I just remember I had to like take the bus to go meet her in the emergency department. I had to call her cousin who was in Tracy. So her cousin drives out, and I went with her cousin. This is a stranger. I didn't know this woman. She was just a black woman who fucking had a concussion because she was in the middle of a domestic abuse situation. So I met her cousin and myself. We went to go get her car because her boyfriend, I think he was like chasing her in another car or something, and they ended like she had to go to the gas station to get some gas, but he pulled out a gun on her when they were in the gas station, and she was so afraid she just dropped her keys and left. Or she had her keys or something. She leaves her car at the gas station. I mean, the doors were open. The car was just at the gas station, and she ran. She had run 50 blocks by the time that I got to her. Like, we definitely couldn't drive from, I was like downtown by like, what's over there? Like the Walgreens, the city center, the gas station that the car was at was all the way in West Oakland by like, the freeway. So she'd run all the way there, which is she was on foot. It was very far. Anyhow, so we get her car, we talk to the gas station owner. We had to help her and her cousin file an insurance claim, and she ended up staying at the hospital for like another 4 hours after that. That was 8 hours. That was my whole day. I never made it to the gym. Because, that woman who was in that awful, awful relationship her life was in danger, okay? And it was very clear that she didn't know what to do. She didn't know that she should go to the police station. She was too afraid to call the police because her boyfriend told her that if she called the police, he would kill her, even though he'd already tried to kill her. Like, she was bleeding in the head. She already had a concussion. She was too afraid, though, to go to the police station, so I had to go with her. That was just one of the many nutty incidents that happened last year. Those are the issues that we're dealing with in this community. So, dear young women, you don't have time for a relationship right now, and they are not safe. The men in this society are not safe, and they're not kind, and I honestly don't think that they love or like you. I think they probably want to use you for sex and nothing more. And if they stick you with a child, they will leave you. Like, they don't love you. They don't love their children. They're awful men. And you don't have to deal with them. Like, you don't have to become prey to them. Like, they don't have to be a part of your story. If some man really loves you, you'll know. You won't have to second guess it. He will literally show you. He will be calling you every single day. He will be taking you to dinner every day. He will be sending you plane tickets to go places. You're gonna know. You're not gonna have to confuse it. So if someone really does come along and sweep you off of your feet, Well, good for you. Good for you. But don't sit around expecting it, and don't go out looking for it, because you have real work to do on yourself. This is why, especially for low income black women, please go get a liberal arts degree, or go get a degree in African American studies, so that you can understand, how you as a black woman, like why you or members of your family might have experienced something that you've experienced. And it's okay to start in community college. Community college is a safe place. Community college has, counselors that will help you. They will answer all of your questions. Every question that you have, they will answer it. I would honestly highly say that the most effective and probably the best thing that I've done for my life is get talk therapy. Talk therapy is important. Talk therapy is simply you describing to an unbiased person who has been trained in psychology or therapy in some way the shit that's going on in your life, the real shit, the uncomfortable shit that you don't want to say to your friends, or maybe the uncomfortable shit that you are saying to your friends that you probably shouldn't be, like putting the weight of your personal life, your traumatic personal life, on someone else isn't healthy, because then they start to hold that weight too, because they don't have the skills to deal with these traumatic events. Okay? Get a therapist. BetterHelp is a good place to start, but Psychology Today is also a good resource. Therapy for Black Girls is a podcast. Okay, go look at my other video where I talked about how I keep up with the Black community, and watch. Maybe I'll make another video where it's way more clear, the Black YouTubers that I follow and why I like them, because I wrote something about it. I wrote little snippets, and what I'll do is I'll just make that written content into a YouTube video where I read it aloud. Okay, so that people who want to see it can. So I will do that. What else do I have to say? Oh, a real part of working on yourself is gaining a skill. Now, if you actually took the time to watch my video from web development to meta learning, you can hear a story of how I was able to gain skills. I gained a lot of skills about what it's like to work in corporate America, what different industries look like, how they function, how engineering roles fit into those corporations and those departments. And I gained those skills, but just watching my video is not actually enough for you to put that on you. I mean, you could add it to your resume, honestly, if you really were able to pull out information from that, because I do, and I will make more videos that talk about interpersonal relationships, just because I've finally been able to write more about it, because there is a lot to say. There's a lot to say about those experiences, and I guess I've realized that a lot of people don't have those experiences, and so me being one of the people who do, it's probably important that I do, talk about it in some way. All right, so where was I going with this? Oh, yes. So I also want, if, I don't know if this is possible, but if there are high school students who are here who have found my channel and they're like, ooh, what about us? What should we do? I want you to know this. College in America is expensive, right? And there's a lot of racism here, basically, and you probably grew up in a segregated community, and you need to get out of that. You need to enter a space where you can grow as a human. And I don't know if I would say that America's the safest place to do that, but you should know that college is actually free in Germany. It's free in Switzerland. I think it's free in the Netherlands. It's almost free in France. You can apply to those colleges and you can go. So I mean, if you need to take what is it, those training courses, if your math or English skills are very low, if your literacy skills are low, if you went to really just an awful K through 12 school system, and so your math level isn't really good, your English skills aren't really good, and if you actually don't know how to speak German, what you could do is take some classes at the community college. Just take a year of German, take a year of English, take a year of math, and just work up to calculus, obviously, like work up to English 1B or English 5. Go talk to a counselor about this, but you just want to get like 1 year of coursework that's like your sociology, your psychology, your English, your math, anthropology, maybe like an art history course, but just 1 year's worth. And if you have to work full time, then maybe it might take you 2 years, but 2 years is still a very short amount of time. Okay, it's a very short amount of time, and in that amount of time you can really grow as an adult and really understand a lot of aspects of life that maybe you didn't before. Like when I worked with some students in Oakland, and I realized some students didn't even know how to use computers. Like they didn't have computers at all. They didn't know how to type or turn on a computer. I've never come across that. I didn't know that that was an issue. It was very sad, but it was also very like, wow, like this is where we are as a community, I guess. So yeah. I'm gonna cut this for now, but yeah, that's all I've got.